Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I've got this set of BBS RAs in the shop. The customer's had these for about 20 plus years. They've always been in this dark midnight blue, but he wants a dramatic change and bring them back to life. He suggested a chrome powder coat, which is a very hot topic in the powder industry of how chrome can you get this chrome to look. So I'm going to show you my methods and my steps that I take to get the chrome powder looking as best it can be. These wheels have a lot of damage. They've been two-tone painted by somebody in the previous life. The line between the polished lip and the actual painted face itself is a bit janky. It's not perfect, but obviously when the car is rolling, it looks really good. There's a bunch of curb rash. The lip has some grinder marks, I would say, in the lip itself, so that's gonna get sanded out. Fix the damage, and all in all, these are in pretty good shape. The beads down here, there's a little bit of corrosion. That's no big deal. That's very common with pretty much every wheel you're gonna see. The backside is looking okay. That's being painted too, which is actually pretty thorough of a job. Usually people would leave that and not even bother painting the backside, but you can kind of see through this mesh wheel. So that's actually really good that they painted the inside. It's helped with corrosion over the years, obviously protecting it with a layer of paint. So I'm just gonna skip all the way ahead through this video. I'm not gonna show you the whole process of stripping, blasting, repairing. I'll just throw in some B-roll shots here and there, but the main point of this video is the actual chrome powder coat itself and how good we can make this look. So let's get all the way through this time lapsing and get to the point where we're ready to spray these with powder. And just like that, these are hung up, ready to go. As you saw, there's a bunch of corrosion on these. I blasted that out. I sanded the lips down. I kept the shape. I didn't make anything wavy or disoriented or anything like that. I also flattened the tops of these spokes just ever so slightly. You can tell by the video, they're a bit wavy, especially once you hit them with sandpaper. I want to give the chrome the best chance to look the best it can for being a powder. I usually, on mesh wheels like this, I'll always just sand over the spokes. There's usually some high and low spots, some waviness in the casting. knock that down, make it smooth. It just gives the wheel a better look once finished. Whether it's going chrome or not, I just always like to do that. It gives a bit more surface area for the color to really shine through, especially on a flat surface versus a rounded surface. Whether that be the chrome or a metallic finish, it looks really nice, and a quick, simple process that you can do to elevate the wheels and your prep, your process, the overall end look, just by quickly flattening off the tops of these spokes ever so slightly. As you saw, I just torched off the wheels. That's to burn off any little dust specks, any lint, anything that may be on the wheels after blowing them off. So a quick torch, a quick blow off again, just to help dry it. Then the next thing we're gonna do is use a dry protector epoxy primer. That's on Tiger Drylac. That is a non-negotiable. I don't give the customer a choice. If you want the chrome finish, I always, without question, do an epoxy primer first. That basically gives a good base layer for the chrome to go onto. Now, this dry protector primer lays like glass almost every time. I put it on ridiculously thick and it doesn't orange peel. I put it on really light and it doesn't micro orange peel. It always lays out nice and smooth. So that's gonna be a good base layer. Obviously there's some casting in here. Inside of the spokes are a bit rough. Corrosion, little pits, anything like that gets filled in with this epoxy primer, and it's a nice base layer for the chrome to go onto to look even better. So let's get these coated with the epoxy primer, and I'll show you how smooth that looks after they're cured. Now here they are, partially cured and out of the oven. They've cooled down. As you can see, it's kind of a satin finish. So what I like to do with the dry protector primer is watch this like a hawk. When it's in the oven, I want to see the whole thing matte out. As you can see from the outer barrel, the inner, it has a slight sheen to it. I would say this is matted out. Basically, the color is a matte finish. It's got the slightest bit of gloss to it. That's the like satinish look, but this is how this color is. Now, I'll show you a close-up in a second, but I want to go over a couple benefits of doing a primer first. One, it is now nice and smooth. Because this is a mesh wheel, we want to get into all these nooks and crannies, the sharp corners, which can be a Faraday issue when it comes to lesser than good guns. When you use something like an Eastwood dual voltage, I believe some cool coats don't have really good adjustability. This is done with a Gema Optiflex 2. You can do this with an Electron Plus 3 Master, which you can get through First in Finishing, who are one of the sponsors of this channel. But regardless of that, there are a lot of Faraday issues. Now, if you were to use a Super Chrome first without the primer, you're gonna spend too much time. You're gonna over apply the chrome to get into all these Faraday areas. What can happen when you put chrome on too thick is when it flows out, it can actually, what looks like cracking. You get a bunch of like veining in it, which is the metallic separating and seeing a black kind of webbing, which looks like cracking. So that can happen when you over apply chrome. I've put on a nice thick coat of primer, which like I said, it lays down silky smooth, smooth as glass. So now when I go to lay the chrome, I can use my second coat settings. I can up the powder, I can put the KV down, I can turn the air down and let the powder naturally get into all these areas by just doing it very lightly, very slowly. I'm gonna get most of the front side and most of these Faraday areas, all the corners, from the back of the wheel. I can I would say over apply it from the back side, and that way you can put only a little bit on the front, which will make it look nice and not over applied. Another good benefit about doing the primer first is if you have any little nibs from dust, something floating around in your oven, a little outgas bubble happens, you can go ahead and sand it with 320 grit sandpaper. So those are some benefits of doing the primer first. It just looks better. You can over apply it to get a smooth finish if there's any rough casting. You can sand it and it just looks good. And it's more protection for the wheel in the long term. So now we can put Super Chrome on here. I'm gonna coat it the same I do every wheel. I'm gonna do the outer barrel first, the inner barrel, back of the face, and then you'll see how much and how little we can actually put on of Super Chrome, and that way it's gonna look really good. We're not gonna get rid of any of this stamping, any of the lettering, engraving. You'll still see it once these are baked. So let me show you a close-up of how smooth this primer can be, and then we'll get to coating. And now, don't you wish that this could stay just as it is? Unfortunately, this does require clear, and this is one of those colors that you think you can get away with not clearing it or using something else like ceramic coating or automotive clear. This is something you need to powder coat clear. Yes, this is gonna dull out. It's not gonna look as reflective as this. You can tell this isn't chrome. It looks insane for what it is. These I've put in to the hot oven. So when you do chrome, I've seen online a ton of people saying put it in a cold oven and then turn it on. That's gonna take too long to ramp up to get to temperature, especially with chrome, requires a hot temperature. I put these in an oven that's already preheated and set to 400 degrees. Now these chromes, this is Prismatic Powder Super Chrome Plus. This calls for 400 degrees for 10 minutes. That's a full cure. And then you apply the clear. The issue with this is there's no bonding once you put the clear. When you do other powder coats like the primer that's on here, you partially cure it so that the next layer can bond to it. It's called cross-link. Now, basically, just like paint, it chemically etches into the previous coat that was applied. Same kind of applies with powder is when you partially cure the first color or the first primer you put on or base or whatever, they link together. They basically melt into one coat. Now, when you fully cure the chrome, there's not gonna be any cross-link happening with the clear, so that's susceptible to chipping easier, delamination from the clear off the chrome. So what I do is actually bake the chrome to 385 degrees for about 7 minutes, then I pull it out. If you undercure this chrome, if you flash it, if you just think you can get away with gelling it out, this will turn completely gray on you. You'll lose all reflection, it'll start to sag, it'll discolor, it'll look blotchy. because of the weight of the clear will actually pull all the metallics apart and it will soak it into the clear as if it's acting like an illusion or a dormant color. So you have to fully cure this. I do the 385 for 7 minutes because at that point, this is already set in its ways. It's giving you a little bit of leeway to allow some cross-link to happen on a very minimal level, I would say. I've never had issues with clear peeling off of chrome or chipping very easy doing it this way. You're not gonna get any of that sagging, discoloring. Of course, this chrome is gonna dull out once I apply the clear. Another thing to watch out for is when you are checking these for temperature. You want your temp gun to read onto something that is bare metal. So I always vacuum back pads. Let's say you do still use tape, which I highly recommend switch into coatings by coats, vacuum setups to vacuum off the back pads. You want to read temperature off the thickest part of the wheel or the thickest part of your part that you're doing. What can happen is when you use the temp gun and the infrared sensor reflects off of the chrome and you'll get an actually improper reading. So I always go off a bare metal spot, which is usually the back pad or the center bore. It will give you the most accurate reading. That way you won't undercure your chrome. Now, lastly, the best way to make these look good and stay looking as best as they can is to use the most high quality clear and the most clear, if that makes sense, that you can get. I use an acrylic clear from Emerald Coatings, but you can also get that from Columbia Coatings, known as Wheel Clear, or you can use Prismatic Powder's acrylic clear also. That gives the best chance of the chrome looking like this. The acrylic clear, I'm gonna do the same process I've done all the wheels, is start with the outer barrel. The inner barrel, I'm gonna focus more on the back of the face so that I put the least amount on the front as possible. And the acrylic clear gives really good clarity. There's no haziness to it really. It doesn't give that kind of cloudy, bluish tone. The acrylic clears are amazing for something like this. So these are all cooled down, ready to shoot. Let's get clear on these and see the final result. And just like that, the results speak for themselves. These things look absolutely amazing, and I didn't expect anything less. By using these 3 specific colors, you can get results just like this. The Dry Protector Primer is probably the star of this show, allowing the Super Chrome to lay smooth on top of a very good base coat. The Super Chrome Plus is always gonna look this good once cured correctly, and the acrylic clear is the only clear I would use for this color combo. This gives the chrome the best reflection without making it cloudy or muddy. If there's any tools or products that you've seen in this video that you want to know more about, those can be found in the link tree linked in the description. And if you love powder coating, whether you're a seasoned vet or you're someone new to the industry, feel free to check out my Patreon where I have over 100 tutorial videos, a group chat, one-on-one support from myself, and more. That can be found on my Patreon, link below in the description as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you learned something along the way. If you do this color combo on any of your projects, definitely tag me on Instagram. I would love to see them. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next project.